Hey, what's up guys? AirPods Pro are now real. Apple has now announced their new AirPods lineup, the AirPods Pro, and they're due for release in just 2 days here on October 30th. In this video, I wanted to go over everything that's new with them, and I got some new news to throw in there as well. So I've been a little sick, sorry for the delay here. We've got construction happening in my house. It's just like the house shaking. I had to ask them to stop to film this. But anyways, so watching the release today in Apple's advertisement, I gotta say the design is just perfect. Somehow Apple always surprises us with the final product. You know, the leaks cannot do justice to that product. And these things are smaller than I thought. They're very short. They're a little heavier than the predecessor AirPods 2. They're 5.4 grams now versus 4, a little stockier, but overall the design is solid. Like, it looks good. And right away, it can be distinguished that you're using a new product. In fact, the old AirPods now have a longer stem, and those start to look strange once you understand and accept this design. And just like the leaks showed us, it's a pea shooter look. It looks a lot like something you'd find in Plants vs. Zombies or a certain type of Pokemon. It's very cool. Like, I personally like it. Now, what surprised me is that there's 3 different ear tips. So those are adjustable, and there's an actual interactive ear tip test that Apple is including. This will basically use technology in the microphones to adapt the certain type of ear tip size to your ear, and it'll use some algorithms in the microphones to determine which one is the best fit for you. That is cool. I've never seen a single other microphone do something like that, so I like that Apple's bringing innovation to an in-ear solution. And these start at $249, so they're obviously more expensive than standard AirPods. What do you get for the money? What make these so special over AirPods 2? Are they worth it? So first off, there's active noise cancellation. Apple has included a microphone on the inside and on the outside, and they work in tandem to determine, the best settings, noise cancellation for where you're at. And of course, with that sealed design, you're gonna get a level of sound that you wouldn't with AirPods 2. Of course, until using them, we cannot tell you how good they are, but this is Apple we're talking about here, and I have no doubt that they will truly be superior to AirPods Standard or AirPods 2. Also very interesting is on the stem, there's a new touch sensor. It's a force touch sensor is what Apple calls it. So it's not necessarily just a touch, you actually have to apply some force. This could be a form of 3D touch that they're implementing into this. So in a way, 3D touch is living on just different ways here. Now, along with that force touch sensor, Apple is including a couple new force touch shortcuts that we haven't seen on AirPods 2. There's a press and hold to switch between active noise cancellation and a new mode called transparency mode. By the way, transparency mode is coming to Beats Solo Pro with iOS 13.2 released today. But what it does is it allows you to hear your music while hearing the outside world too. So if you're walking in public and you're afraid that you're going to get hit by a car, this would open up that mode where you can hear background noise, but still relatively hear your music. I really can't say what it's like. Again, I have not heard them. 2 days to go until that one, but it sounds like a very cool feature. Something that the Bose headphones have, the new Bose 700s, so you can do a halfway mode on the noise cancellation where you can still somewhat hear. And I basically see this as being that, but implemented into the software better. You don't have to go into the Bose app to do it. Of course, you're paying for the Apple integration here. It's super cool. The other press gestures include just one tap to play, pause, or answer a phone call, double tap to skip a song, and then a triple tap to go backwards. That's pretty much how AirPod clones function, and now Apple's brought that over to AirPods Pro. So the functionality there is even different compared to AirPods 2. Now on the inside, in the X-ray view that Apple has given us, these things look like a work of art. Like, Apple has taken the time to make them pro on the inside. I'd say a lot more advanced over AirPods 2. I'm just admiring that picture. Also the 11 Pro logic board, like, this thing is a work of art on its own. And you can expect Apple to basically apply the principle of miniaturization to every product going forward. Now, these AirPods Pro are the first to have a system-in-package chip. This is where everything is on one chip, which optimizes things, makes it more efficient on the inside. All of the components aren't scattered like on AirPods 1 or 2. Now, these also have the Apple H1 chip inside on this system-in-package chip, so you can expect relatively similar results to the AirPods 2 in terms of performance and speed. I'd say the biggest reason that Apple did this was to maximize space inside of the AirPods. It's a very small form factor, even smaller than standard AirPods, so that gives them the ability to do the biggest battery possible on the inside, and I'm really looking forward to the teardown by iFixit. Are these using the similar metal-shaped battery as the Series 5 Apple Watch with 40 millimeters with the aluminum enclosure? Because I don't recognize the battery in their teardown picture. Apple has also added a sweat and water IPX4 water-resistant rating to these new AirPods Pro, which means they're not submersible, but you can be splashed from any direction. essentially go running in the rain or have a heavy workout without any fear of damaging the actual AirPods. And as far as battery life, they're exactly the same as AirPods 2 with active noise cancellation turned off. As soon as you enable that feature, battery life goes down to 4.5 hours on the actual AirPods. The casing has over 24 hours of battery life in reserve, so pretty much the same, just a little step down with the new Pro features. Still great. I've never went one session where I drained them completely unless it's like a long flight. And in 5 minutes, they can recharge an hour of usage time, so not really a problem. We haven't seen that new battery life or fast charging that Max Weinbach rumored, so that was a little disappointing to see. Also in the box, Apple is including a USB-C to Lightning cable, which is interesting, but considering that the new iPhones come with that USB-C block, it makes sense. The fact that it has Lightning, what does that say about the 2020 iPhone? You know, it's very likely that we will see AirPods with USB-C in the future. It's very likely that the iPhone is going to USB-C in 2020. You know, I don't think it really matters that Apple's sticking to Lightning. It's really going to take a long time for them to transition over entirely on like all of their accessories. And over the weekend from Economic Daily News, we heard that there might be new colors on AirPods Pro, such as midnight green or a black version to match the new iPhone colors. So far, that has not materialized, and I wonder if Apple could drop that as a special edition in the future, but these stick with the same color palette as AirPods 1 or 2 in just white. And AirPods Pro aren't even out, but the clones are being worked on. The AirPods 1 and 2 have got to be one of the most cloned Apple products ever, and already AirPods Pro are going to be seeing a clone, as we saw a leaked shell of that clone over the weekend. So I'll be checking that out when it's out. And as predicted, iOS 13.2 did drop today before the official release of AirPods Pro or Beats Solo Pro, dropping on the same day, Wednesday, October 30th. So in order to support those fully, you will need to update to that version. It's a fantastic software update. I've been using the beta for a long time, and all the features, new emojis. If you want to learn more about those, I'll leave a link to the review down below. And the new Apple Tile-like competitor, which we've seen leaked extensively in iOS betas, has once again been referenced in 13.2, and it's called AirTag. So that will likely be the official naming of that new product. There was also reference found to the fact that these will have a replaceable battery inside, and a new setup menu basically confirms this, showing you that there is a pull tab that you pull out from between the battery to activate this device, confirming replaceable battery will very likely be a thing here. I'm very excited for this product. You know, I like Tile, but this will be integrated in iOS perfectly. I'm excited for that. Now, as for release, there's speculation that we might be seeing products dropped every single day of the week like we did last year, as Apple's going to have this very fun release week. So we might see this new Apple AirTag, the Mac Pro final release date dropped too, and potentially new smart battery cases, which have also just been shown in iOS 13.2. So the new images basically confirm Apple is releasing these for the 11, 11 Pro, and 11 Pro Max. They look identical to the older ones, so we should be seeing those here fairly soon, if not this week, you know, very likely by end of year. And Apple also pushed out an update for iOS 12, 12.4.3 with security fixes. It's simply amazing that they're still supporting older phones like the iPhone 6 down to the 5S and all the iPads with the latest security fixes, unlike Android, you know, forcing you to get a new phone just to have the latest security. I respect Apple so much for that. And a couple other reports regarding future iPhones, which got me very excited. One from Digitimes, which was taken out of context by some media outlets, saying that the future iPhone will have a ProMotion 120 Hz display in 2020, which isn't exactly what the report said. What the report said was that there would be more demand for a higher refresh rate display on phones coming out with 5G in 2020 and beyond, which adds speculation to the fact that Apple will be doing it on next year's iPhone. Not specifically that they would. They basically said it remains to be seen if they'll add it. But we did hear earlier from Ice Universe that Apple was looking into a 120 Hz display, so one can hope. It's certainly technology that's not impossible anymore. It just depends on whether Samsung will be adding or creating those displays, or will Apple have to seek out other suppliers to add it to the iPhone. So not only could future iPhones feature a ProMotion 120 Hz display, the elec is claiming that Apple will be adding an LTPO display to upcoming iPhones, which is the same display that the Apple Watch Series 5 got in order to enable the always-on display mode. So essentially, it's a variable refresh rate display, which would perfectly tie in with the rumor that ProMotion is happening, but they're not necessarily needed to work on their own. So this would enable a refresh rate from 1 to 60 Hertz, and you need a 1 Hertz display in order to run an always-on display. This would essentially allow for complications on the iPhone, you know, much like the Apple Watch, has many apps that work in an always-on mode. I would love to see that on the iPhone. And I'm truly excited for the future of software on the iPhone. Man, Apple is killing it. I seriously don't even recognize this company anymore with the amount of innovation they've been doing recently. They've simply outdone any of my expectations for them. So I'm excited for 2020 more and more. Also, Ming-Chi Kuo has published a new report on the iPhone SE 2, claiming that Apple is entering production in January and they'll go on sale in March. So it's very likely that Apple will indeed have a March event where they'll announce the new iPhone SE 2, and he expects them to sell between 2 to 4 million a month. All right, so there it is, AirPods Pro. We'll have a review on those later this week. Really excited to get my hands on those. Otherwise, stay tuned for more. Peace.